Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. I can't believe we're at episode 113 already. You know, it feels like it was just yesterday that I started the radio show with Voice America, was leading their women's empowerment channel. It was such an honor, and we've evolved into a podcast. And at this point, I think I've had over 300 guests that I've been able to interview, and they just get better every single time that I have the opportunity to do this because the caliber of the women and men that we interview here on Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up just keeps getting better, and it just really lands for me. And I want to bring this to all of my listeners today, that when you are truly leaning into who you are, and you are truly being yourself without apology for anyone else, and you're showing up in that skin, you change the world. You make a huge impact on the person that needs to hear what you have to say, or needs to feel your message, or needs to have you in their presence or their network. So please, 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 if it's one thing I can beg of you this week, please go out and really start focusing on you. Look within inside of you. Search for what it is that you're dying to do, what your calling is, what your heart is pulling you to. And then when you're ready, you can always check out Lead Up for Women, because this community will be here to support you in that growth. And I have a wonderful guest with us today who's also going to be able to support you in that growth. But before I get to Charissa, I just want to make sure that all of you are aware. I announced this last week, the very first time. We have a big conference coming up August 11th. This will be our first big conference for me and for Lead Up for Women, and it's called LEAP. And it stands for Lead with Enhanced Acceleration to Reach Your Peak Performance. And I'm very excited to have that opportunity for you to attend that event. We'll have the link below. I also have some trainings that are coming up. I would love for you to be able to join into some of those trainings. We have events every week that our members do. You know, come join us. Check us out, Lead Up for Women. We are a tribe of women that are here to support you on your journey, to make sure you're getting the exposure that you need, you're expanding that influence, and we're opening up the doors to the people that you need to meet. Because my favorite subject, which is what we were talking about today, is strong women lift each other. So Charissa Sims, welcome to the show. Let me tell my listeners a little bit about you before we get started here. Charissa Sims is a spiritual life coach, host of the international podcast You Inspired, which I was able to be a guest on. So honored. Thank you so much. She is the #1 best-selling author of Change Your Energy, Change Your Life. We're going to get into a lot of that today. Best-selling children's book author. Wow, there's so much you can do. She's an entrepreneur, a mom, a teacher, and a corporate consultant. Whatever it is, relationships, pain, success, Charissa can help. While working with the top Fortune 100 companies for the past 20 years, she's discovered the root of pain in the body is not always physical. I would always say it's usually not ever physical, but I love that she said not always physical, because then someone might actually listen. But it's usually never physical, but we'll get into that later. There may be spiritual or psychological issues present that are blocking that person's ability to heal. 1000% agree on that. In the past, she had a past life. You know, we've all evolved. We keep becoming into our better versions of ourselves, don't we, Charissa? So in the past, she's been a professor at the University of Southern California. Ms. Sims has worked with Amazon, Google, Fox, NBC Universal, and many more thousands of companies, nonprofits, and schools. Charissa, wow, what an impressive resume. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that message resonated with you about pain.
Yeah.
You said most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, and I do agree that it's all the time. I believe, you know, but back in the past, I wasn't always believing when people would say that they cured their cancer, or they can cure their backache, or whatever it may be, because I wasn't open to it then. Let's just be real. If we don't believe that something's real, maybe it's because we haven't opened ourselves up to it. It's like when you see a car that you've never seen before and you're like, wow, I want one of those. And then in the next 5 days, you see about 40 of them. They were always on the road, by the way. We just didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So true,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's like when you start paying attention to your desires and what you want to manifest, you do start seeing them. Or maybe it's the universe starts bringing more of them for you to support you in your
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
And I just ended a women's wisdom circle where we had amazing women coming together on Clubhouse, and we would set intentions. We just set intentions for the day, and also just supporting each other. How can we serve each other? And we ended with a healing meditation and music. So
Mm.
that was wonderful. And I really feel called to talk about the earth energies of what's happening right now, because in my book, Change Your Energy, Change Your Life, 10 ways to change your energy now, I don't really touch upon the earth energies and how they affect us, but they really do affect us. And I think I've just evolved a little bit, and my wisdom has kind of expanded since writing that book. But I just wanted to share, if any of you didn't know, Mercury is in retrograde and it will end and go direct on June 20th. And just a little bit about Mercury being in retrograde. It's not a good time to sign contracts, start something new. It's really a good time for self-care, to go within, to go deeper, and to really finish things that you started. But then we have this dichotomy of the solar annular eclipse happening tomorrow morning. And that is a time to really set your intentions, because the universe is going to support you in your dreams. So you were touching on this earlier, and this is just divine timing for that. So everybody, if you're listening now, set your intentions, do a little ceremony tonight, do some self-care, maybe a bath, light some candles with essential oils, and really tune into yourself. What is the life that you really want? Regardless of your energy, regardless of the emotions, regardless of your past, of who your parents are and everything else. I know we got into that when I interviewed Colleen, and it was an amazing interview, and I can't wait to release it on my podcast. But right now is the time to begin something that you've always wanted to, but maybe after Mercury is out of
After
retrograde.
June 20th. So let's do
After
this
June
after
20th.
June 20th.
But you can still have the thoughts. You can still
Yeah.
have that momentum and energy and writing and journaling, and start that now, because this
Yeah.
is the time with the eclipse. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you, Charissa. And I'm glad that you're speaking up about that because, I'm going to be honest with my listeners. Back when I was in corporate America, I feel like I was a different person then. And you don't know that until you evolve into a better version of yourself, right? And then you look back, hindsight's 2020, and you go, wow. Wow, I was really closed off to a lot of opportunities then, but I also felt like I was kind of in this bubble of corporate America. And I get out here to be an entrepreneurship. And to me, it's this millionaire's playground. And we really can achieve and do anything that's possible. And I don't know if I always believed that before, even though I told my kids. I really feel it now. So I really want to get into that conversation, Charissa, with you about, changing your energy and changing your life, because
Mhm.
what you truly can think you can achieve. We create everything around us. I think back to let's go back to my corporate days. Lead Up for Women didn't exist. I know thousands of people today that I never knew back then. I created a community that no one even knew about, or there was no name chosen for it, that I just came up with one day. I created all of this out of nothing. And that's what this world is. If you're not happy with your surroundings or your life, I love this set the intention. So let's talk about what were the intentions that you set, and then I love that you gave directions for someone to set an intention, but let's also get into what an intention is for someone who might not understand that.
Oh, sure. So for me, my definition is an intention is maybe something that you want to accomplish, and it can be something big or small. Like for example, my intention would be to put myself first today, to really do some self-care. So I did yoga this morning. I meditated. I really went deep into what my body needed. So that was my intention. But you could have an intention, what you were talking about earlier, like getting a new car. So then you can start the momentum. Okay, what are the little baby steps that I need to do? Because I believe manifestation is 90% from our mind. It's our frequency, it's our vibration, it's what we're feeling. How can we release those emotions or that past idea of scarcity to get into that space of manifesting what you want, to allow that abundance to flow in so that you can intend to have that car. So an intention, I would say, could be a goal. It could be just something that you want to accomplish for the day, even. So little or small. That's
Mhm.
how I see it.
Yeah. And with an intention, you need to feel it. So when you're writing
Good
an
point.
intention or setting an intention, if you're saying that, I want to drive a Porsche Cayenne by November. My executive assistant said I'm going to buy a Porsche Cayenne by my birthday in November. So
Mhm.
she set that intention, and I said, what does it feel like to
Good for
drive it?
you.
Another person said, what does it smell like to sit
Hmm.
inside of it? What do you feel like in it? What color is it? Have you gone to test drive it yet? So
Hmm.
when you set those intentions, you have to, it's like you feel it that you've already got it.
Hmm.
And then that puts everything into motion. And it's not crazy talk. I swear it's not crazy talk.
Yeah.
It's how we create everything, but there must be action that goes along with that. You can't sit in intention and say, "Oh, I see what it feels like and it smells like," and then sit in your house for 6 months until November comes around, doing nothing to try to get that vehicle to you, and then poof, it just, appears on your driveway. Doesn't
Yeah,
really
that's a
work
good
that
point. And I did want to touch on what you said when you said, "Oh, I want this." Because when you actually say that, it's separating you from the goal. So if you
way.
say, I am driving this, and what you were saying is so powerful when you're visualizing, you're experiencing it. So you have to really feel like it's already happened, and then the universe will bring it in the divine perfect timing. So there are sometimes things that have to line up. So if you put a date, like you said, driving this Porsche by a certain date, if you put a date, for me personally, I'll discourage that because the universe can bring it a lot faster. And you might have to line some things up, like more prosperity to make those payments or to make the down payment. That is going to be, you're going to have an amazing life, but it might not be exactly by that date. So sometimes things can take a little bit longer, but don't be frustrated. Don't be like, okay, law of attraction doesn't work. This isn't it. It could be your emotions, your vibration, your frequency. So there could be so many different things. So I really encourage people to just set the intention and hold the space for unlimited possibilities because it could happen tomorrow. I mean, that could be your destiny tomorrow. So you don't want to put a date that it's happening later because that blocks the flow of the universe and abundance and everything. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
Oh, thank you. Such good points. And this is what we're talking about with strong women lifting other women, because that she's
Mhm.
absolutely right. I need to watch the way that I'm saying my words. And if I'm saying I want, you're right, it separates me from having that already. And by setting those dates, I'm prolonging something that could be sooner or later. So thank you for that, Charissa. I think that was wonderful that you mentioned that and brought that up, because no
Mhm.
matter where you are in your life, no matter how much you've learned, we always have so much more to learn. And if learning is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you. I say it all the time. And learning from other people is what we should be seeking out, and looking for other women to lift us, or men, or whatever it may be, and not being afraid that that person is stealing anything from you, but
Yeah.
really relishing in that and just enjoying that and saying, thank you. You taught me so much today. And I appreciate that, Charissa.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I also wanted to say my name's Charissa. I'm sorry I didn't
Carissa.
correct you sooner.
I
But
did that earlier. I know I did
That's
that
okay.
earlier, and I
That's
apologize.
okay. That's okay. But also I just wanted to say that now more than ever, we are becoming powerful manifestors. So it's so important. I know people say, oh, think positive thoughts, but it is critical that you don't think about what you don't want. I'm like all these like double negatives, but you need to really be clear on what you want and hold that vision for yourself, and really let go of the past and who you are or who you think you are or who society wants you to be, and just be you and just follow your dream, your path. And I know when I let go of what my parents wanted me to be and what society wanted me to be, then I felt like I could be an entrepreneur, because I didn't have any role models. I didn't have any successful role models for being an entrepreneur or an author or anything. But I just did it because it felt like it was my path. It felt like it was who I am and who I'm becoming in this world, on this planet. So thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm glad you said that. So, you know, we talk on this subject a lot about owning your power and being on your own path and doing what it is. Does it matter what other people think? Of course it does. But does it really matter what other people think? In my world, no, it doesn't, because if someone doesn't like my energy because it's a high energy, I'm not going to lower my energy or my frequency because someone else doesn't appreciate that, right? We can't please everyone all the time. But Charissa,
Good job.
Carissa,
Charisma without the M. There you go.
Carissa, let's get back to you and your path, because you just said that, you owned your own path. And
Mhm.
why did you own your own path? Why did you do that? What really took you down the road to being who you are today, to wanting to write a book for people to understand that they can switch their energy and that
Mhm.
will change their life? What is inspiring you to do that? Because you don't have to do that. You could have a job and go do your thing, and or why do you want to make a greater impact? What happened in your world that brought you down this path?
I hope you can't hear the lawnmower in the
I
back.
can't hear
Okay,
it. We're
good.
good.
Okay, wonderful. So, so that's an interesting question. I actually had to think about that because I had a job, and I had a great job in corporate. I was working in aerospace. And at that time in aerospace, they were really supportive of other women and leaders, and they wanted to promote other women as leaders. And I had a huge budget, multi-million dollar budget with a team and employees. But I felt a little bit stifled, like I couldn't really expand. I felt just constricted. So I think if I had a job, I would love that job, because they were so supportive in what I wanted to do and everything. But I was a little bit too much of a go-getter. You know how you were saying you don't shine your light? I was just like so enthusiastic about it. And there's a lot of people old school in aerospace, not to offend anyone, but they're just like doing their jobs day to day, and they don't want to strive for something better and bigger. and
Mhm.
and I was always pushing the envelope. Okay, what are our goals? What are we going to do? And I had the attention of the executives, so we would meet with the executives, and they would write letters for me, getting all of the company to support me in my goals and everything. And I felt like all of the rest of the people in my is environmental health and safety team were like, who is this person? She just got here and she thinks she's all that. And I just felt like, well, I don't know. I mean, how can these people not be supportive of something that's good for the company? But I guess sometimes people feel threatened when you shine your light, unfortunately. And so I decided, and then I started my own business on the side. Basically, I met with a chair vendor. I had designed our own chair for the company, and it became the chair standard. And I worked with the vendor, and I said, I want to start my own company. So I just told him. I didn't have business cards, I didn't have anything. And he's just like, I'll just make some business cards. And I'll give it to some of my clients. At this point, I had a 980 schedule, and I had every other Friday off. So then he found a client for me, which was a large hospital. And then I started getting calls at work. And then, all these people, when you're doing something big, I don't know. I mean, that was my space at the time. Okay. I have a different energy and space now, but I was attracting this experience at that time. And they reported me to my boss, and they said, hey, She's taking calls on the side. She has her own business. What are you going to do about that? And so my boss took me to breakfast. He was amazing. And he said, what are you going to do? Your own business or this? Because you can't do both.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was ready. At that point, I was making more money actually doing work on the side than my job. And I said, well, if I have to choose, I'm going to leave. And so does that answer your question and what inspired me? The books and everything
Yeah.
else was other people. Other people around me were writing these books. Like I went to Jack Canfield's seminar,
Mhm.
and I was like, I want to do that someday. So that was the inspiration for the book.
Yeah, I love that. And I want to go back and anchor in something that you had talked about that really, sparked me when you said that, which was, when you're a real go-getter and those around you just don't want to play that way and they're like doing their thing and they're
Yeah.
just not the go-getter type.
Mhm.
That's when you're really born for more, right? Because you just want more and you come up with more ideas and you keep thinking of more, and others around you might not have those desires or that spark or that flame. And you start thinking, wow, why am I so different? And that was really when I came into myself,
Mm.
Carissa, which sounds like that's when you came into yourself, which was, hey, I'm meant for a lot more here. And I thought I was happy doing this, but I have all these ideas and I just have so much more that I want to do. And I would ask the listeners, how many of you are sitting out there that maybe are in a job and aren't doing what it is that you want to do? And I'm not saying you need to go start your own business, but how many of you have always wanted to be a dentist? And you're at a job that you're like, I really wish I could be a dentist. Go to dentistry school, go after your dream and just do it. We have to take that leap sometimes. And we only are promised today. Today becomes yesterday, and tomorrow may never come. It may never come. It's a gift every day that we get to wake up to it. And so I think those were really great words of wisdom that you shared, which was, I just went for it. And you're like, I don't know. Yeah, business cards, that would be great. Like, the, the, the point of that was we don't always know the how, we just know the what. So
Mhm.
let's talk about the energy shifts, because in my life, huge energy shifts. In your life, huge energy shifts. How does someone recognize an energy shift? Are they pushing it? Are they pulling it? Is it just showing up? Do they fall into it one day? Are they hearing it on the radio? What would you say? Like, what happened for your life for the energy shift? And what have you maybe worked with other women
Mhm.
with, or others that
Yeah.
you've supported?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So for me, I was always a seeker for I guess spiritual growth. So I would do like 10-day meditation retreats. It was called Vipassana, which is amazing if anyone wants to look that up. It's a free retreat, and if you feel like you were given value, you pay a donation. And I would follow different healers and I would have them heal my life, and I would get different insights when I would get these healings with other people. I never thought I would be a healer. I just thought, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a writer, da, da, da. But then I started recognizing that I could see things in people. I could see their pain and I could see how to help them more than just their ergonomics. And about 15 years ago, I was at a seminar with Master Shaw, and I just released a podcast episode with him. He's a healer from China. And there was thousands of people at this conference. This was pre-COVID, obviously 15 years ago. And he pointed me out and said, "You're a healer." And and so he did this transmission on me. I'm not saying it's going to be this obvious for people. This is how I experienced my energy shift. It's kind of like bonking me on the head. Okay, you're going to be doing this now. So then all of a sudden he has me line up, and then all the people from the conference are lining up to get healed by me. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never healed anyone. But all of a sudden I just did it. I just stepped into it because I figured, okay, well, maybe it'll just flow through me. And it did. So all the information that I needed about people. So I guess you could call it claircognizant, where I have a knowing. So I have a knowing the source of the pain, what I was talking about, or a relationship. I've helped people who are in a relationship with a narcissist or someone that they have a hard time leaving. And I explain to them it's because they have a cord connection. It's not their fault. Actually, we just need to cut that cord because they were in a past life together where they depended on each other. So I can explain that to people, and there's a lot of healing that goes with that, and they can move on with their lives after we cut that cord, and we do it together. So I really facilitate people's own healing abilities and activate that within them, because we're all healers. We're just not aware of the mechanism and how to do it. So sometimes we need a little help from someone else, but we all have that ability and we can do that ourselves.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And we we really are as powerful as we believe in ourselves. And I want to just repeat that, because if you say that you're a strong female, you will be a strong female. If you say I'm clumsy, I did this forever. I'm clumsy, I'm clumsy, I'm clumsy. Guess how many times I tripped? Guess how many times I knocked over glasses of water on the table? Guess how many times I knocked stuff off my desk and water, it was consistent, because I kept saying, oh my gosh, I'm so clumsy. I created clumsiness because I said I was clumsy. I'm not
Mhm.
clumsy. I was clumsy because I said I was. And then
Yeah.
when I was like, I need to stop saying that, I need to really say I'm not clumsy and who I am, and
Mhm.
who I really am, it stopped. It
Mm,
stopped. So
that's beautiful. I love that story.
yeah. So I really love, Charissa, that you're sharing so much about what we focus on, we create more of. It's really a simple concept if you break it down. When I said I want, Charissa was like, no, 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 no. No, we can't say I want. And you were right. It separates. And I know better than that. I have them written down here on my desk somewhere of,
I
if you say
figured you
I,
already knew
yeah,
that.
if you say I can't, you are literally saying I won't. When someone says I can't, they can. They absolutely can. It's way better to just say I choose not to, because something else is a bigger priority, because that's what you're really saying to that person. But I think that I can't becomes an excuse, so that we don't, the blame's not on you. It's like I can't, the blame comes off of me to somebody else. And until we fully take responsibility, fully, for where we are in life, for what we have in life, for who we have become in life, for how we love others, for how we love ourselves. If you don't take full responsibility for those things, you're living in denial. I'm just going to throw it out there because I like to be straight up.
Truth
Didn't you
bomb.
say?
Yes.
Didn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel you so inspire me. Yeah. Have you been a TEDx speaker? Do you do
Uh,
inspirational talks?
yeah, I
Because,
do.
yeah.
TEDx is on my list. I have some friends that are TEDx
Oh,
stage
yeah.
owners, and I'm working with them to get on their stages
Oh,
because I
yeah.
just think it would be so much fun.
Oh, yeah. You're amazing. You just tell it straight up like it is. And people appreciate that honesty, abruptness, and your energy. So I'm excited of what's in store for you. What's next for you?
Thank you, Carissa. So let's give some advice quickly to our
Okay.
listeners about just some steps. Let's give them some steps of owning who they are, you know, and setting intentions like you talked about. What can you leave our audience with on that, for some, how you work with your clients and your community on really helping them understand. And for someone that doesn't get this, I get it. I didn't either. I get it. Like, I totally get it. Sometimes it's just changing the words that you use, or how you feel about yourself daily. Negative cannot exist in a positive mind. Negative cannot exist in a mind that has gratitude. So there's always the opposite of everything. There's a positive, there's a negative, there's a plus, there's a negative, there's an up, there's a down, there's an on, there's an off. So how do we help shift everyone into that positive, strong person nature?
Yeah, and I just wanted to say I'll give you some tips definitely, but I really wanted to say it's more about, you don't necessarily have to be ambitious and strong and accomplishing everything that, Colleen and I have, because just being who you are, just your
Mhm.
presence is enough. So I also want to say that, because sometimes our society is just like, go, go, go. You need to write a book. You need to do this and this. And maybe that's true for you. And you can step into that. And definitely these tips can help you step in. But I also want you to take a step back and see what's really in your heart. What is it? Because maybe it's not doing any job. Maybe it's just being an investor, philanthropist, maybe it's traveling around the world. But some things, so what has helped me is meditation. I like to start off my morning with a meditation and breathing. So if you breathe in deep for 5 seconds and hold it, breathe in deep through the nose and hold that breath and release. And if you can do that for about 3 minutes, that can get into your heart. And
Mhm.
then you can ask yourself, you can start talking to yourself. What is it that I want? What is it that's for me? You can also tap on your thymus for affirmations. I am powerful. I am a divine spiritual being. Unity, so your thymus is where your ribs connect, here
Mhm.
in the middle of your chest. You can feel it there. You can look it up online where it's at. And what that does, it activates your immune system and makes you more powerful. And then also you can feel the vibration of the words coming through your body. So sometimes affirmations don't work because maybe you don't believe them yet. So you might have to shift some things in your energy. But I also use essential oils. So I have some that are motivation and clarity from Young Living that I like to use in the morning, and then also at night. I like to cleanse my energy of the day, because sometimes, our auric space is about 6 feet in front of us. And sometimes other people can get into your energy that do not belong there. Okay. And you need to cleanse those energies. So I always believe a shower, bath, or just visualizing those energies leaving your body, and that can really shift your energy. Believe it or not, that can affect you and your everyday experience of accomplishing your goals. So that's what I wanted to say. Is that enough tips for
Oh,
people?
yeah, that's
Okay.
absolutely correct. And I love that you said that. And everyone that has ever watched my video, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can go to Lead Up for Women on Facebook. I have a sign behind me that says, I am enough, because you are. And that power that I'm talking about is your power. That power doesn't have to be on the speed of Colleen Biggs, right? I was just on a conference and they said, you're one of the fastest people I know, fast to make decisions, fast to move businesses, fast to sell, and I have two speeds. I'm on or I'm off. Now, that's not for everybody. That is not for everybody. What I'm talking about and what Carissa's talking about is find who you are. I want you just to show up as you. I want you to peel back those layers and finally drop the armor, to know that you don't have to try and keep yourself safe anymore. You can be you. And there's so many of us, Carissa, me, thousands and tens and thousands of strong women out here that want to lift you, that want to hug you, that want you to be, that want us to be in your space, that are here to not divide women, but to bring women together as this sisterhood, this thread of sisterhood that we all have. And that was really, what we were talking about today was find your energy and then really lean into that
Mhm.
and be that person. And that person doesn't have to be the Nobel Peace Prize winner. They don't have to write a book. They don't even have to be a mother. They don't have to do anything. We're not human doings, we're
Mhm.
human beings. You just have to be. And it took me a long time, Carissa, to realize that my worth wasn't tied to what I made, but my
Mhm.
worth was tied to who I was.
Beautiful. That is so amazing. And I just feel compelled to share something that's come up for me in my own life is integration. So, like, I have had these two worlds, corporate, and I still do corporate, and spiritual healing. And I'm going to be integrating both to help women in their businesses. Yeah.
Great. Let's talk about that. So, how can people get in touch with you? What do you
Oh,
have for our
sure.
listeners today? Let's talk about all that right now.
Well, I have some 10 ways to change your energy now on my website, carissasims.com. So you can go to my website and you can learn about my podcast, You Inspired, on there. I have a note. So,
That's
so yeah,
perfect for today because I want them to be able to assist in changing their energies. That's perfect. And where
yeah.
else can they find you? I know we have all the links below already for
Sure.
everyone.
That's fine. Yeah, my Facebook page for my podcast is You Inspired 333, and also on Instagram. And my personal Instagram is Charissa Sims 333. And I'm also on Clubhouse a lot. So feel free to reach out to me if you'd like an invite. I have a lot of invites.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Thank
that's
you
it.
so much, Carissa, for being on the show today. It's really wonderful to wrap all this up to help every listener out there to realize that we are on this journey with you. We are all on this journey and continue to be on this journey. And we will all be on this journey evolving until the day our journey is over. And if you are still alive and you are still listening to this, you are still on your purpose. You are still driving your journey, and so we're all here to support you in that discovery. So thank you again, Carissa, so much for being with us today. And I want all of you to remember that you are the only you that has ever been. You are the only you that will ever be. How powerful is that? So how you navigate your journey in your future, it's up to you. No one's coming. The handle's on the inside, and we're here to welcome you on the outside. So lean into who
Yay!
you are and be you and be strong. So thank you so much, Carissa. Until next time, everyone,
Thank
have a
you.
beautiful week. Bye-bye
Thank
now.
you for having me. Bye bye.
Okay, let me go ahead and get this Facebook Live